A very good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 10th tutorial session of DesignCube. I mean, it's a great achievement that we have finally reached our 10th tutorial, right? So today we will be talking about the one of the most important tools in the Photoshop or in any other designing software, that is the pen tool. So what pen tool allows you to do is pen tool allows you to make hand-drawn shapes, right? So the shapes which are not automatically available in Photoshop, or maybe you drew something from your hand on a white paper and then you need to digitalize that design. So what you can simply do is you can click a picture of that sheet and then you can import it in Photoshop and then you can work on it using the pen tool. So that is one way to digitalize it. Right, so today we will be discussing on how to use pen tool and what are its applications. We will be seeing one or two applications of pen tool. So let's get started. Number one thing is that the shortcut to use pen tool is the P for pen key, obviously P for pen. So as I click P or I press P, so now this is the icon, that is the symbol like that is the cursor for pen tool, right? And here we have this auto add or delete. So I would recommend you to check this checkbox, I mean that this should be on so that we can automatically delete and add the points. Right, here we have the path or the shape. So right now we will be working with path. I'll be telling the difference later, right? So let's just select path as of now, and these are the same options that we have earlier seen in the other selections tool as well, right? So let us just see what happens if we simply click with this tool selected, right? So I have just clicked and I can see this square or this point here on the artboard, right? And now when I click on somewhere else, you can see a line has been drawn between these 2 points. So that is what basically the pen tool does. It simply joins 2 points. Now it is up to us that how do we want those 2 points to be joined actually. So right now if you see, like, I am simply clicking somewhere in the document, right, and it is just making some random shape. So when I come back on the point again, you can see this 0. That means the path is going to be completed. Like this will be a closed path. So as I click on this, now this path has become a closed path, right? So we have done nothing. We have just selected the pen tool with P and we have clicked on various positions on our artboard or our document and we have just made this closed path, right? So now if I just start doing that again, you will see. that we can make another path. And now, one thing you must be noticing that these paths are not visible in this layers panel, right? So I have just selected the move tool. Now we are in the move tool and I can do nothing about these paths, and also we can't see them here, right? These are not visible in the layers panel. So where exactly are these paths going? So if we see here, we have the third panel as well, which is the paths. So if you click on that, you can see we have this work path. So all the paths which we have created till now have gone into this work path, all the three paths, right? So let's just consider this as layers panel only, but here we can store different paths. Like here we have different layers and here we have different paths. So right now what has happened is all of the three paths are on the same work path, or I would say, like, just consider it as a path layer, right? So right now all three paths are on the same path layer, and obviously just as the layers, we don't want that, right? We want the individual control on every path. So what do we need to do is, let's just delete this work path. Delete the path. Yes, I want to delete it. So I'll again select the P for pen tool, and now I will just again click anywhere. Right now I will close it. So now this is one work path, and now I can simply click on this second last icon. It will create a new path, and in this new path I can create one more path, then I can create one more path, and then we can have this path. Then I can create similarly like this. I can create infinite number of paths, right? So these were just as the layers, right? So when you click on a path, it gets visible. If you don't click on anyone, no path is visible, right? So till now what we have discussed is the shortcut for selecting pen tool is P. What does pen tool do? It simply joins 2 points on our document. Now that is up to us, that how do we need those 2 points to get joined, right? Which we will be discussing now. And then we saw that the paths don't show up in the layers panel. There's a separate panel for paths with the name of paths, and there we can see different paths in our document. We can create a new path and we can delete the existing path as well, right? So I'll just drag it to the delete button, or I'll simply press delete button after selecting a path, so I can simply delete the path, right? Now we will see how to join 2 points in different ways, right? So first we did was we simply clicked somewhere in the document. Now if I click here, you can see a straight line is being drawn. Now if I click here, a straight line is being drawn. What if I do not click but I drag, right? So now I am dragging on that point, right? So now you can see a curve is forming between the initial point which we selected and this point where we are dragging the cursor, right? So this is the second way, right? So this is a point, this is a point, and these are the handles of this point. The actual curve is only this part, but these straight lines are the handles of this particular point. And because we selected the auto add or delete option, as you hover over the already existing points, you can see this minus symbol beneath the pen tool. That means when I click on this, the point will get deleted. Okay, I don't understand why isn't it getting deleted. It should have got deleted. Right, so what I did just, I was So now if I'm dragging, it is not considering that initial point, right? Because I deselected that point and now it is assuming this to be the initial point. So let us just first of all, so here were we have this one point and I simply drag this here and you can see those two handles are moving according to my mouse and the curve as well. So this is the curve and these are the handles. So what does handle do exactly? So if I just go to the handle and I press control, the cursor changes, right? Control allows me to move the handles. So as you can see, now I am moving the handles and the curve is moving as well. But both the handles are moving simultaneously, right? And if I just go to this handle, right? So I'm just simply pressing the control key and I'm moving the handle and I can see that the path is changing its shape, right? Now what if I want to only move this handle and not this handle, right? That is achieved using the Alt key. Earlier what I did was I moved to the handle, I pressed Control key and I moved it and both the handles moved, right? Now what am I doing is I am moving to the handle, I am pressing the Alt key and now you see we have a different shape, different cursor. Now if I move this handle, only this handle is moving, right? And this is not affecting our curve. You would be wondering why. Because earlier when we were moving both the handles, the curve was getting affected. But now if we are moving only one handle, the curve is not getting affected. Why is it so? So it is because this particular handle, right, this handle determines this side of this point. Like if we consider this point, whatever the curve or the path or the shape it has on this side is determined by this handle. And what will be the next is determined by this handle. So if I just press my Alt key and go to this handle and I change its position, you can see the curve is getting affected, right? So let's just make it a semicircle kind of thing, right? And when we move this, this is not like no changes there, right? So now we are back to the pen tool. And now when I clicked on a new point, you can see that between this point and between this point, a curve has been created because this was a point with a curve, right? It had handles and this was our only a single point without handles and this is also without handles because I did not drag, right? I simply clicked. So what happens with a simple click? Now am I going to click? So if I do a simple click, we have a simple point, right? But when I click and drag, we have a curve, right? So we have a curve when I click and drag. When I simply click, we have a point. When I click and drag, we have a curve, right? So let's just go back to that point. So here were we? We were here. It had two handles. We moved those handles. Now we created a new point. Now if I just change this handle's position, right? As you can see, this part of the curve is getting affected. That's what I was saying, right? So with this handle, this part of this particular point or particular curve point is getting affected. Whereas if I move this handle, only this part is getting affected, right? So that is how you can change both the shapes, like both the sides of the shape, both the shape sides using the Alt key to break the handles. Earlier they were joined, we were moving one and the other was moving as well. But when we pressed Alt and we moved the handle, The handles got broken, whatever, right? And now we can individually control them, right? So this is some kind of a wave, if you would say, if we just say it. So it is wavy kind of thing. So let's just make one more path and revisit what we have already done. So I simply press the P key and I got selected pen tool. If I simply click, it will give me simple lines. But if I click and drag, it will give me curve, right? If I click and drag, it will give me curve. And now if I want to change the shape of this curve, I can, so let's just make one more point, right? So we have got a wavy line, right? So this was the point here. To select this point, what I did was I selected this point by pressing the control key. Because when I go to this point, the cursor changes its shape to minus. That means it will delete this point, right? This is deleted. Now we are on this path, and if I click again, it has changed to plus. It will create a point, right? So if I'll just press control and I change its handles, you see the path is changing. When I change the path by pressing the control, both the handles move because till now we haven't broken them. How to break the handles? Simply press Alt key and move one handle. In this way you have broken the handles. Now even if you press the control key and move the handles, you will be only you will only be able to move one handle because now they are broken. You can't do anything about it. You can't move both of them simultaneously. You will have to move them individually. One handle determines the one side of the curve, the other determines the other side of the curve. Or if you would say one determines the incoming side of the curve, and other determines the outgoing side of the curve, right? So for this point, we have two handles, and now we haven't broken them, right? So both of them are changing their shape. And if I'll just create one more point, right? Now I select this point, as you can see, because both the handles haven't been broken yet, and if I move them by pressing the control key, both the sides of this curve are changing, right? But when you use the alt key, it breaks the handle and it only changes one side of the curve, either the incoming or the outgoing, right? If you would have noticed, what did I just do was I moved both the handles simultaneously, even they are broken, right? So how did this happen? This happened because I am pressing right now Control and Alt, both the keys, right? Just go back and see what did they do, right? I have this new point with handles. If I press Control, both the handles move. If I press Alt, only one of the handle moves. And after they are broken, even if I press Control, only one gets moved. But how to move both? Control plus Alt. Then when you move, even if they are broken, both of them will move. right? So let's just draw some shape using the pen tool. So we have this point, we did this, and then we again come back to this. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to make a moon, right? So we do this. Now you can see that this is coming, like the curve is coming from here. So if I'll just select this point and I'll break its handle and I'll change its handles here. And if I'll just select this point, this is not a curve, right? Just a minute. This was a single point, right? We made a curvy point here, and we made a curve here, and we made a curve here, right? Now because we want this to be pointed, we selected this point by pressing the Control key and we broke off its handle to match our shape, right? So we have created a moon. Now if we'll just create one more path and let's just imagine, yeah, just to tell you one thing more, like when we click here, right, this is a point, then we make a curve, then we make a curve, then we can make different curves, right? Then we can even join it, and then to see what you have made, you can see this path, right? All these are curves, and here we had a point. What you can also do is you can also start with a point with handles, right? So if I'll just select my pen tool with P and I simply drag here, so I am already starting out with handles. That means when this is joined with the full path, it won't appear as a pointed thing, it will be a curve, right? So what I'll just do is I'll just show you. Let's just imagine we have this, right? I'm just making some random curve, right? As you can see now, we can end this on a curve as well. It doesn't necessarily should be a point. Now we can even change its handles so that it looks like a curve, right? Earlier what used to happen was our ending point used to be a pointed thing, but now it's a curve because we started out by dragging a point. That means we started out with a point which already had handles. So handles allow you to make a curve instead of a pointed ending, right? How to, like, what is the application of pen tool if we see? Pen tool is used to make complex selections sometimes, right? Right, because if you go to subject, it, right now you have many options, like you can use the object selection tool or the mask and select, or if you would see we have the quick selection, we have magic wand tool, and even if we have, like we have already seen the remove.bg website where you can cut out your object or your subject very efficiently with only 2 clicks, right? So selection is not that of a big task today, because all of these good AI stuff coming up, because it can recognize that what is the subject in the image, right? But what if you have someone's, like you have your own signature and you are going to digitalize it, right? In that case, you can use the pen tool. So if I'll just show you, what you can do is, right, so suppose you have your signature in some random, like whatever your signature is with some random shapes, right? So what you can do is you can simply choose the pen tool and then you can draw over that signature like this, like this. Now you can simply bring this here and you can break the alt, by pressing the alt you can break the handles, and then you can make a digitized version of your signature, right? You just have to play with these points and these angles, that is it, right? So if I'll just create a new path and then I'll come to E. So what I clicked here and then I clicked here and then I just made this curve and I broke the handles. Right, so as you can see, we are having this E shape here, and you can just all the way back here because it is one single curve, right? Now we have this E. So what have we done till now is we have created paths. Now what to do with these paths, right? Because right now if we see, if we are going to digitalize a signature, we can't just simply have the paths, right? Path is nothing. Path is not visible. Path doesn't come to layer. If it doesn't come to layer, it is not going to get saved when we save it as JPG. It won't be visible. So what to do? I'll just delete all these paths. I'll delete this design. I'll again select the pen tool and I'll go to paths. Right, so we had seen this shape thing, right? So let's cover that now. So I've just created a closed shape, right? Now what you can do is you can simply select a new solid color layer. What this does is it makes a new layer with a solid color of your choice. Because now you had the path selected, it is only going to fill that particular path. So I'm just selecting blue, and now you can see this is a shape, right? The shapes which we draw with these. So when you draw a circle, right, this is a shape, right? This is a predefined shape. And as we already know that this is not raster, this is vector. That means however large you make it, right, it won't lose its quality. And even if you make it too much small, right, and after that you increase its size again, it still won't lose its quality because it is vector, it is not raster. So what you have just done is you have created a custom shape that is vector and not raster, right? So a filled path, a path which is filled is a shape, right? And an unfilled shape is a path, right? So if you see, when you have this selected, you have this color fill one shape path. So even if you delete your work path, right, we have this shape color fill one shape path that is associated with this layer, right? No path, no shape, because shape is nothing but a filled path. If there is no path, there can't be any shape, right? So what does this shape allow you to do is, it allows you to build shape simultaneously when you're drawing your path. So I'll have just new path here, and now you can see this is already filling my path as and when I am creating it, right? So it's your option. If you want to select shape, you can select shape. If you want to select path, you can select path. What path will do is it will only create a path. It won't fill it, but what shape will do is it will keep filling it as and when you are drawing it simultaneously. Right? And now this is a shape, this is a vector. You can scale it as much as you want, right? What one more thing these can do is, so if I'll just delete this, and I create a path. So okay, I want to create a path, so I will have to select that stuff. I will have to select path here, right? So now we have this path, right? Now what we can do with this path is we can make selection of this path, right? So I'll just do feather of 3. We have already discussed the feather. So now you can see this selection is available in the layers as well. So what I'll just do is, okay, actually I have created a closed path, that is why it's filling it, right? So if I'll just control D to deselect the entire thing, and if I'll just create a path, right? Now you can see we have this stroke path option available. Stroke path, that means the path which we have created, just stroke it. So if I'll just click it here, it is showing me that using which tool you want to stroke the path. So if I'll just choose brush tool and hit OK, it will stroke the path according to my current selected settings of the brush tool. So if I'll just move to brush tool once, and if I just see its setting, it is 0% hardness and 13 pixel size, right? So you can see that is exactly what the path has been stroked with, right? You can see we have the same thing here. So according to the current brush settings, the path has been stroked. If I'll just change my brush settings, I'll just increase the hardness and increase the size a little bit as well. So now this should be the stroke. Right? Stroke path using brush. Okay. Now you can see we have the stroke according to the new selected settings of the brush tool. So while making your digital signature, you can simply draw the path according to your signature, which was the image, and then you can stroke that path according to the current settings of the brush, and you will have your digital signature, which you can easily resize, right? So you can easily reduce and increase its size, right? The path is still the same, but the fill is different, right? So using pen tool, you can create many different custom shapes of your want. So let's just create something. Like, I'm not that good in drawing, but as you can see, we have drawn something like human eye, right? So you can draw many different custom shapes using the pen tool, and there is no limit on that. You can have selections from the pen tool, and if I'll just show you one more cool stuff that is not used pretty much, but just to show you the freeform pen tool, right? I just right click on this pen tool and I'll just click this freeform pen tool. So what this does is whatever path you draw, it will convert it into a points. Like you can just simply click and drag and draw some random line and it will convert it into a path, right? So if you have just this stuff, so if I'll just draw a moon by dragging my mouse, it will convert it into a path using the points. And now you can do is you can simply change these points, right? Whatever you wish to do with them, and you can simply alter the shape. And that is very rarely used, but you can do this if you find it good, right? Rest are just the different versions which we get activated using the control and alt key. So if you see this convert point tool, this gets activated when we press the alt key, right? So that is pretty much it about the pen tool, and I'll just show you one website. Just a minute. Mm-mm. Yeah, so this is the website bezier.method.ac, right? So this is its homepage only. So this is the website which you can use to practice your pen tool. So it is showing me, let's start from here and then make a point here and then make a point here, and now I have completed that tutorial or that level. So now I have to build this house, right? Now they are asking me to make a circle. Now I have just made a circle. So they are teaching me as well and they are making me practice as well. So you can use this website. This is a very good website to practice the pen tool. Sir, I have a little problem in drawing shape. Means I want to draw something but not exactly it look like that. How much practice or what I do to improve this thing? Yes, Prashant, like if you have a hand-drawn image ready of whatever you want to draw, it would be good. So you can just click that picture and import it in Photoshop and then you can draw a path over that using the pen tool. But if you have just something in your imagination and you are thinking to draw it via pen tool, I mean it's going to take a practice, and also I would say it would work because if you are good in art, right? You should have a good hand practice of drawing things. That would be good because if you lack that, I don't think so. It would be very much possible to draw just out of your imagination using pen tool. Even I don't do that, I would say. I would first draw something from hand, or I'll just make a rough sketch using hand on paper. Then I'll import it in Photoshop, and then I will work with pen tool to digitalize it. Because frankly speaking, I'm not an art person. Like my drawing is not that much good. So yeah, and as for the practice, I have already told you this site, bezier.method.ac. You can use this website to practice your pen tool, right? So let's just end today's session, and in the next session we will be covering Adobe XD, right? The power of Adobe XD, how its minimal interface can help you quickly make some designs, and in our last session we will be making our caricature. So let's hope to see you guys on day after tomorrow. Bye bye.